Good evening, everybody. It's Fantasy Endgame live at you Monday night, which means we got football. One more game underway in about an hour, hour and a half, something like that. So it's Chiefs and the Saints. See if you got any skin in the game still. Like the Chiefs are not exactly loaded with fantasy options anymore, which sounds odd. It's been a while since we could say that, but honestly, you probably don't have too many Chiefs in your lineup still. Maybe Mahomes, Kelsey stack, I guess Xavier Worthy, and even then, it's kind of iffy. One guy you don't have in your lineup, and I think we just got this report. I mean, we were just talking about it right before we went on. Rashee Rice, you definitely don't need to stash him anymore. It looks like.
No, we just got word, unfortunately, that it's ending his season. Now the good news is for next year, I guess it's not ACL. It's his LCL. Although they said there's a chance that, but there is a chance it's only okay. Okay, it's his LCL, I guess. But he's, if the surgery confirms that's the only damage, meaning his ACL doesn't need reconstruction, that does mean at least he should be healthy for next season. So there is some good news there, but officially now out for the season. So you can drop Rashee Rice.
There you go. At least we know. I mean, this really dragged on. Feels like longer than it should have. I guess it makes sense. I mean, if it was just straight up ACL tear, we would have known right away. I think, like you said, they don't need to wait and confirm and do all this. I mean, it would just be obvious. So still, Rashee Rice, again, no need to stash. You got an IR spot, keep it open for somebody else. You probably need it. I'll just say this again, Hollywood Brown, I'm not going to bother to stash him because even though they haven't said he's out for the season, he's probably out for the season. Xavier Worthy is technically the number one receiver there now. I mean, they got to trade for somebody, don't they? I mean, they feel like they don't have to, but they have to.
I mean, it's the Chiefs. This is a team that won a Super Bowl with Sky Moore as their wide receiver one. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they would like to. But I don't know if they feel like they have to. So we'll see. I mean, there are some, like, I think when we're talking about the Chiefs, you got to look more at the budget options, like the Amari Coopers. Maybe if they still believe Keenan Allen has something left because he's on the last year of his deal. Like, it can't be guys that are like Devontae Adams doesn't make sense for the Chiefs. That the cap hit is way too high. So, yeah, we'll see. But look, again, we thought they had to do something that year. Sky Moore was the wide receiver one, and they won the Super Bowl. So maybe they just feel like, hey, we got Mahomes and a good defense. We're okay.
And it's crazy because, in fantasy, we're just like, oh, man, the Chiefs, what happened? What? And they're only 15th right now in points scored and in yardage, total yardage. It doesn't matter. They're undefeated still. If they win tonight, which they definitely could, they're 4-0. They could be 5-0 with this mediocre offense. So what, right? Like, they're not going to care. So you're right. They don't probably have to. Although, you got to think about the fact, well, those first couple of games, they did have Rashee Rice. But still, the Chiefs, they were saying the other day, they're like, oh, well, the Chiefs, the last couple of years, they've traded for a receiver at the deadline. I was like, who did they trade for last year? And I was like, oh, it was like McCole Hardman. I'm like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. But Amari Cooper does make sense. I'll just say that. And if he doesn't go there, he got to go somewhere. I would really, really hope because Cleveland. I mean, it's done. We're done, right? Deshaun Watson is done.
He's not, but this is the problem. Like he still has a vote of confidence from Stefanski, and the problem for the Browns with Deshaun Watson is you traded like multiple first round picks and gave this guy $1 bazillion. Like, you don't want to bench this guy because you're pretty much just admitting that we made a massive, massive mistake if you bench this guy. So I think sadly we're stuck with Deshaun Watson all year. So let's get, assuming health, of course, let's get Cooper out of there. Let's get Cooper out of there.
Yeah, I really hope for his sake and the teams where I have Amari Cooper that does happen. Yeah, that might wind up going down as possibly the worst deal in NFL history at this point. It looks like it. I mean, I guess there's still time to turn it around, but something's going to have to happen pretty quickly there.
Yep.
It wasn't all bad news, though. In week 5, we did have some huge performances. The Bengals, I guess, are for real now. Jamar Chase, well, we already knew he was fine. Joe Burrow, guess he's fine now, too. And yes, I know you're waiting for me to admit it. T. Higgins, he's good when he's healthy. I guess he's startable.
How are you feeling about your Burrow teams now these days? How are you feeling about your Burrow? You gotta feel pretty good, right?
Well, I don't have too many, but I know in our end game league where drafting with our guys who joined, our viewers, I'm pretty happy I had Joe Burrow this week. So, yeah, I guess it's okay. But yeah, Bengals looking good, Ravens looking better. Finally, the Ravens woke up, but man, I will just say the Ravens, I did not expect to be this team that every week's going to be just a high scoring game because their offense is good and their defense is horrible. But apparently their defense is horrible. I mean, it just has been.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. Like, well, they're one of they don't have a good secondary, right? They're not bad against the run, but man, that secondary, yeah, you can take advantage of that secondary. And when you play a team like the Bengals with Burrow, Chase, and a healthy Higgins, that's not a good place. But still, they won. Somehow they keep winning. I don't know how. Even though they tried their best to lose that game, the Bengals tried a little bit harder to lose that game.
Yeah, actually, you're right. They're basically becoming. I should clarify. Their pass defense is horrible. They basically become a funnel defense. And for those who don't know what that means, we'll talk about that more. Now that we have enough data, now we've got a few weeks under our belt. Now we can look at the defensive stats a little bit more. And if you catch the videos that are still going to be coming out this week, talk about some defenses that you do want to stream against and some that maybe you don't. And that data is more useful now. So, I mean, there's a lot, of course, to unpack from the week, but we are here to help you. And we're going to talk about your questions. If you got some questions for tonight, maybe some start sit dilemmas for the Chiefs Saints. Maybe you just want to let off some steam about what happened or didn't happen this past Sunday. Maybe you get early waiver wire questions, something like that. So talk about all that before the game starts. And before the game starts, you also want to make sure you get your picks in. So let me remind you, if you were not already aware, Underdog has this free pick for new customers. It is Pat Mahomes going higher than 1 yard, technically 0.5 total yards, but he gets a yard. You win this pick. It's a freebie. So you get this and you still get a deposit match all the way up to $1,000 of bonus cash if you sign up on Underdog for the very first time and use code ENDGAME. Make sure you do that if you haven't tried Underdog yet. And of course, you cannot forget about Boostober. Boostober. You're getting profit boost tokens every single day of the month. And so you have a chance to win extra money. Just make sure that when you're signing up for Underdog, if you're trying it for the first time, you use that code ENDGAME to get all of that. And of course, we're going to answer questions almost every single day this entire week, like we always do. Basically every day except for Friday, we are live here. But if you maybe can't make the live stream, you're watching this back, or you had a question that's not in the evening time when we're on live, no worries. You can do the exact same thing as everybody who's watching now. Ask your questions to us on Draft Lane. That is our app. You get in touch directly with us. It's absolutely free to download. Just go to the App Store, Play Store, and download Draft Lane. Check it out. You can ask us your questions, start sit waiver wire trade, or just use the Ask a Question button. And anything football related, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right. Let's talk, I guess, a combination of Monday night and week 5. Brosif, what is up? Wondering if it's time to get off the Jordan Mason train now because CMC may be coming back.
Yeah, it's not a bad time because there is some risk right now that we could see CMC maybe early November. I don't feel like you have to trade him, and he is coming off a bit of a down game, so maybe his value isn't quite as high right now. But so what is he saying? He's asking good running back target, I think you should be looking at guys like I still think Josh Jacobs is a buy low. He scored, but he still didn't have like a huge game. He had a good game, but not a huge game. I feel like James Conner's being a bit undervalued still. Aaron Jones, who is on bye this week, and people tend to forget about guys when they're on the bye, and he just got hurt. So maybe, although it doesn't sound serious, I would say guys like that. Like try to get a guy. Like if you want to flip Mason now for a guy well, you never know if you're going to have a running back all season, but at least a guy will be the starting running back when healthy all season. I don't think it's a bad idea to do that right now.
No, I mean, his value should still be pretty high. And I'll just, again, throw it out there because you never know. I mean, again, you're always surprised the kind of players that people will either trade or even drop. This is a great time to try to buy low on a Breece Hall, on a Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
Just try it out. I mean, again, it depends on your league. You never know. Juice, what's up, Juice? Not thrilled with Mason this week or Marvin Harrison or, of course, Dontavian Wicks.
You watched the panic video. I nicknamed him Don Trappian Wicks. Trap. He was a trap. I said this on the video, but in case you didn't see it, how many times did I painfully say Dontavian Wicks over Brian Thomas Jr.? I wish I could just go back and say Brian, because I was so high on Brian Thomas Jr. last week until the Romeo Dobbs thing happened, and then I'm like, well, now you got to go Wicks. It's only him and Jaden Reed, but apparently it wasn't. It was Tucker Kraft, Bo Melton. I don't even know who else, because it wasn't Dontavian Wicks. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, what a terrible.
I mean, look, on the one hand, of course, why would he just catch like 2 passes for 20 yards? Why? Against the Rams defense, which is, of course, one of the worst pass defenses in the league. Just because. And Jacob Gibbs, guy we follow both on Twitter, and, breaks down the feed. He's like, well, it wasn't that bad. He was targeted several times, and there was a couple of close misses and whatever, but that doesn't matter. Like, come on. Right. He still should have, would have, it doesn't matter. But I will say this, again, like almost everybody who picked up Wicks probably started them, right? Unless you just picked him up for the sake of picking him up. You're like, oh, well, I'm stacked at receiver, but why not pick him up too? But you probably started him, and that's fine. 99% of the people who had Wicks, okay, you started him, you took a chance, it didn't pay off. It happens all the time. But we did not, neither of us on the live shows, we did not just unequivocally say you have to start Wicks, right? It like Brandon Ayuk are Wicks. We're like, probably just go with Ayuk. If you want to start Wicks, you can, but Ayuk is still the better play. Guess what? Ayuk was the better play. So I didn't say yes or no 100% to Wicks this past week. But I think a lot of people just blindly, just like, you got Wicks, like you have to start Wicks.
Well, there was so many Twitters and articles and videos just saying you have to start Wicks this week. You have to start him. That I think, it's easy because we got a lot of questions like Wicks or Terry McLaurin, Wicks or like, yeah, you said Brandon Ayuk, Wicks or like Garrett Wilson, right? Like, no, don't start Wicks over those guys. Like
Mike Evans.
That's why I say the one regret was Wicks, and because we got a lot of questions where the teams had Wicks and Brian Thomas Jr. It felt like, or maybe I just noticed them a lot because I really wanted to say Brian Thomas Jr. But I fell for the Wicks trap. So that's the one I regret. But yeah, we got questions asking like Wicks or really good wide receiver. It's like just play the really good one.
Yes. Look, even Jaden Reed was kind of disappointing, to be honest, because it was a great spot for him too. He did have that one long catch, but he didn't have a big game. I mean, he was still startable. He was fine, but it was just a disappointing week in general for Green Bay's offense. They should have done more. Well, I take that back. It was great for Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft was a guy. Yeah, Tucker Kraft was a guy we should have been starting everywhere.
Yeah, which we did say mostly yes to Tucker Kraft. But anyways. All right, so Jay needs to non-PPR, looking ahead here. You got Ford, Dowdle, Bigsby, and Rashawn Johnson. And then let's debate Tucker Kraft or Sam Laporta.
All right, well, at running back, I'm going Dowdle and Bigsby. Bigsby gets a great matchup this week. I think Dowdle at this point, if like I'm not gonna say Dowdle's a must start, but he's head and shoulders the RB1 in Dallas, and he's performing and he's catching passes. Like, how can you not start Dowdle right now, really? Ford kind of trending down. Rashawn Johnson, I mean, so frustrating. DeAndre Swift 3 times yesterday tackled at the 1 yard line, and then Rashawn Johnson gets a little cheapy touchdown. Like, oh, maybe he can do that again, but if he doesn't do that, what are you going to give? You're going to get nothing from Rashawn Johnson. So I think I got to go Dowdle and Bigsby, who has a good matchup this week. And look, what's going on in Jacksonville? Is Bigsby the lead back, or is he at least the early down back?
Well, he should be. If he's not, I mean, look, I saw today 2 things. First of all, they asked Peterson, like, hey, is Etienne, is he going to be benched now for Bigsby? He's like, no. Like, just last week. And then today it came out with something like that, oh, yeah, he had a shoulder injury. That's why Etienne didn't play in the second half. Like, what? Wait a minute. Are you sure? Like, this came out of nowhere. That sounds a little too convenient. And by the way, apparently Doug Peterson's coach speak index is like 35% reliability. So, take that for what it's worth. But I think Bigsby is more than startable. I'm kind of almost just completely out on the Cleveland backfield, because Cleveland is not just Deshaun Watson, by the way, who sucks. It's the offensive line is just bad. They're not giving him even any time to think about making a bad pass before he does. So, Dowdle and Bigsby for sure here. Kraft, Laporta.
I think I still have to go Laporta. I mean, I know it's hard after what Kraft has done really the last 2 weeks, right? Like Kraft was the tight end du jour this week, but he actually delivered. He actually delivered again.
He did.
But it's not as, I mean, it's not really a good spot for either one, to be honest, but I don't know. I don't think I can put Kraft in over Laporta yet. I don't think I'm there.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, it's non-PPR. It's a tight end. I mean, who's going to score a touchdown? Maybe 2 touchdowns. That's what it comes down to. And
I guess Tucker Kraft then, because he's the one that's actually done it, because Laporta hasn't.
It might. That's what I'm saying. It might be Tucker Kraft. This one is almost a toss-up at this point because Kraft is getting targets. He's getting red zone work. So I don't mind if you keep Kraft in there.
Yeah,
what's up, Roy?
The year for tight ends. You drafted Sam Laporta in round 3, and now you're starting waiver wire pick up Tucker Kraft instead.
We should have done better. All right, Royland's ready for the Chiefs game tonight. We know that. Might need to drop 3. Okay. Well, let's see who you got. Wicks, Pittman, Waddle, Worthy, Corum, Justice Hill, AR. You already got Love. What do you think?
I think this team can drop Justice Hill and Corum. Corum did actually finally get some run in this game, so maybe he's starting to, carve out a role. But I mean, Kyron Williams still played like 89% of the snaps or something like that, like something ridiculous. Remember in the offseason, everybody's all freaking out about Kyron Williams, punt returner. He hasn't returned punts since week 2. He's Kyron Williams, workhorse running back. But yeah, you got to pick up Bigsby. Look, Brooks may not come off IR this week. He didn't come off IR last week, so you might not need him. I think for your team, like I would probably drop Corum or Justice Hill to get. I would definitely drop one of them to get Bigsby. I think Bigsby should not be on any waiver wires after this week. No way. It's just a matter of which one you want to drop. And then if Brooks comes off IR and you want to add him, then drop the other one.
Yeah, you can drop both Corum and Hill. I think now as far as AR, he already has Love. Would you just let him go out and someone else grab him?
No. I'd either rather hold him or try to trade him. But I don't want to give somebody, like, I don't want to drop Anthony Richardson and then he's back this week or next week and he goes out there and like runs for 100 yards and a touch. Like he does what Kyler Murray did this week or something. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I just gifted that guy Anthony Richardson. Like, nah, I don't want to just give somebody him for free.
Right. I agree. All right, there we go, Roland. Good luck to your Chiefs tonight. Yes. Oh wait, he forgot. Also has Bucky and Tracy. Would you drop Tracy?
Yeah, you can't drop those guys right now, especially Tracy, because if Devin Singletary misses again, you got to feel pretty good about Tracy. So you can't drop those guys now.
There you go. All right. Paul Byerbenz needs RB help in a 10-team PPR. Got Fields, Hunt, Jones. Okay. Lamb, Tebow, Kincaid, Evans. Well, you can drop Rice. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, drop Rice. Like this is a good week to need running back, because there could still be guys out there, especially in a 10-teamer. Chase Brown might still be out there. Trey Sermon might still be out there. Tyrone Tracy might still be out there. Tank Bigsby might still be out there. Like these guys Rico Dowdle might still be out there in a 10-teamer. Like these guys might still be out there for you, and you can drop Rice now. So, yeah, drop Rice and pick up one of those. And honestly, I think in a 10-teamer you can. Who do you have for wide receiver? You got Lamb, Debo, Evans, Brian Thomas, Kupp coming back, and you could probably drop Keenan Allen too in a 10-teamer. Honestly, if you want to pick up a couple of those running backs.
Yeah, I think so. Running back depth on your bench is going to be more important than wide receiver depth. Yeah, 10-teamer, I imagine. I'd say this: if Singletary is going to be out, then you might as well just pick up Tyrone Tracy, because then you'll have his replacement, and then you can stick him in your lineup. And then Trey Sermon, I feel like Trey Sermon's definitely going to start this week. Jonathan Taylor's not coming back. This
is like the mix-in where it was like, oh, it's no big deal. And now we haven't seen this guy in 3 weeks or whatever it was.
I swear, more than ever, and it's easy to say, but I swear, this year more than ever, coaches and teams just straight up lying about injuries. Like, oh, he got a scratch on his pinky, and it's like 6 weeks later, it's healing. He's going to be back any minute now. It's like, I swear. All right. Sir Boomer. Okay, not the loss you saw coming. It happens. Losing Nico, which, by the way, Nico also now, I think, almost surely going to be out, because it went from day to day to week, which means he's not going to play this week.
Right. Week to week almost always means he's out at least this week, probably a couple weeks. And look, we've seen it with like AJ Brown. Remember this guy, hamstring injury? We haven't seen AJ Brown also since what, like week 2? Week 1? Only week 2. Has he only played week 1?
Was it 1? I feel like it was week 2, but it's been so long.
No, it was week 1 because remember they had their bye this week. So he missed week 2, 3, and 4, and then the bye week.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So yeah, not good. I mean, man, that was a bummer. And by the way, am I the only one that noticed CJ Stroud didn't look quite as good without Nico Collins? Maybe maybe Nico was a bigger help for CJ Stroud than we thought. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe not the quarterback making the receiver look good, but the other way around. It does happen sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the quarterbacks that look good with Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying Nico Collins is as good as Justin Jefferson, but there's a reason why pretty much every quarterback that plays with Justin Jefferson looks good. And it's not because of the quarterback.
Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Well, like this will be not make or break, but this will be very telling to see exactly what guys like Tank Dell do.
He was such a disappointment again.
I know. Well,
jeez.
Like I said, I'm not all in on him. We'll see. Michael Cazares got offered Gibbs or Jacobs Metcalf or Debo Bowers Mayfield. Or Burrow, Devontae Smith, and Devontae Adams. Okay. So either 1, 2, or 3 players.
So are these like, I'm just curious, Michael, is this like one person? It's like, hey, I'm willing to give up either Gibbs and Jacobs or Metcalf, or I'm willing to give up Debo Bowers and Mayfield, and this is what I want in return. Or are these like you got 2 offers from 2 different teams and they just both want the same players? Or maybe are you thinking of sending this out? It's weird. But anyways, so you're giving up. Okay, so Burrow. You got Kraft as your tight end. I'm just rolling with Kraft. Like Kraft isn't gonna be this good all year, but he's gonna be good enough. He'll be good enough.
You're okay, parting with Bowers. Take the second deal.
No, the second. I thought. Am I not reading this right? I thought it was like. I think he's giving up.
Oh, he's getting. Oh, I see. Yeah, I got offered. I see. So he would be giving up the Burrow Devontae side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll take Gibbs and Metcalf. I'll take Gibbs and Metcalf for that because I get an elite running back and an elite wide receiver. Okay, I got to give up Burrow, but whatever. I'll go stream QB. I'll take the Gibbs and Metcalf for that deal. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you're okay at quarterback, don't know who your quarterback would be. Maybe you're streaming, whatever. Gibbs and Metcalf would be worth it because again, I'm not actively buying Devontae Adams, buying low or buying. It would have to be buying bargain like right to get him.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around. I'm like, well, I would give up the Debo Bauer side, but I wouldn't want to get the Debo Bauer side. So that's what I'm saying. But the first one, if it's Gibbs and Metcalf, yeah, that's doable. All right. Gabriel, probably 4-1. Let's see. What is T. Higgins trade value or Higgins and Mooney or Shakir for an upgrade RB or? All right. What do you think?
Well, I still don't feel like Higgins has a lot of trade value. I mean, he's got decent trade value, but I feel like people just I talk about this in our upcoming video. People just don't like T. Higgins for some reason. Like I don't think they dislike him personally. They just don't they just don't like having him in fantasy, right? They just don't want him, and they're like, he's always hurt, he's always so up and down, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what his trade value is right now. I think you're probably looking only at guys like if you're looking for a running back like Tony Pollard, maybe J.K. Dobbins. I don't think you're gonna get Brian Robinson, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, James. I don't think people are gonna give up those running backs for T. Higgins. They're like, oh, okay, he had one random game, but I'm not falling for that trap, right? I'm not falling for that T. Higgins trap. So I like T. Higgins all off season until he got hurt at the beginning of the season. But so far, his since he's come back, he has a higher target share and more targets than Jamar Chase. And the Bengals offense and Joe Burrow are rolling. I think he's going to be great all year, assuming he doesn't get hurt again.
Right. Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I don't think anybody's all in on Higgins now. I think people are very skeptical still. So, yeah, you're probably not getting a stud running back, but again, it always depends on whoever's got him or wants him or how desperate another team is. And then at the end here, it says Mooney for Waddle. Enough.
I mean, if you can get Waddle for Mooney right now, take it.
Yes.
Take it. If somebody's so down on Waddle and high on Mooney because of what's happened recently, take Waddle. Take Waddle.
Waddle. Going to be basically like a bargain. Not a bargain, like a clearance sale kind of price on him pretty soon.
I mean, I'll bet you in some shallow leagues he's going to start getting dropped.
Well, Dolphins are on bye this week. Somebody was like, well, what has he done for me lately? Get rid of him. I wouldn't be shocked either. Bobby Brook. All right. Would you trade Jordan Mason and Wandale for Breece?
Yes, definitely. I think if you said who's the best buy low right now, I would go with Breece Hall. I think he's the best buy low right now. I'm going to talk about, I don't know, I might put the video out after the game tonight. But anyways, the next video that's coming out, I'm going to talk about it. First of all, he gets a great matchup this week against the Bills. And so right off the bat, he could have an amazing game this week, and then the buy low window is closed. But here is his schedule to finish the season. Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams, and then the Bills in championship week. That is 6 straight bottom 10 run defenses that he gets. He could absolutely smash the second half of the season. I think, yeah, get Breece Hall.
All right. Even more reason to be in on him this week, which I am adding those to my notes. Yes, I would take Breece Hall for sure. Let's see. Armani wants some hope here. Any chance Kelsey has a bad game?
Of course, there's always a chance somebody has a bad game, and let's not he is still a tight end, still Travis Kelsey. There's definitely a chance he has a bad game.
Needs under 9.5 points to win. Yeah, it's very possible. Saints are usually pretty tough against tight ends for whatever it's worth. We'll see. It'll be close. Mark Bone just stopping by to say thanks. All right, we appreciate it.
What's up, Mark?
All right. Charles DeZiel. Now, this is selling Breece and Mondre for Saquon.
I don't know. I think this might be too much. I mean, I still would prefer Saquon to Breece. But look, what did we say when we got so many like Ramondre and Antonio Gibson questions? And we said a lot. You know what I think is going to happen? Antonio Gibson is going to play the first series. And then Ramondre is just going to go back to his normal role. And what happened? Antonio Gibson played the first series, and Ramondre just went back to his normal role and was the workhorse. And the only time Antonio Gibson really touched the ball after the first series was when Ramondre left briefly with that injury. So I don't know. I feel like you're giving up too much here because, again, I think Breece is a great buy low. I think Ramondre is a great buy low, too. 3 out of 5 games this year, Ramondre's been like a top 5 running back. He's been mostly good. The only thing that can hold Ramondre back at this point is fumbles. That's it. If he doesn't fumble, he's going to be great. So I think this is too much for Barkley.
Yeah, and you could tell Mayo didn't really want to bench him. He felt obligated. Again, probably got the call from Bill saying, look, you got to do this. You got to show who's in charge. So, okay. So he made a statement, right? And then, okay, fine. Now let's put you back in because you're our best running back.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think this is unfair, but again, like you just said, you're selling low. These are guys to buy low, and it feels like you're selling low. I don't think you need to do this. All right, Lucas wants some hope here. Lucas Quack, can Kamara drop 20?
I mean, certainly. He certainly can.
He's
not saying he will, but he certainly can.
Not guaranteed. Definitely not guaranteed.
Yeah, not guaranteeing it, but I mean, yes, Kamara can definitely drop 20.
All right. Let's see. Alexis Aguilar, what is up? Looking to week 6. 1 quarterback, 2 receiver, 2 running back, flex, tight end in full. Okay, Lover Williams, and then Lamb, Wilson, Deontay, Devontae, Kirk. K9 Hall, B-Rob, Bucky is 3-2. Stupid mistake. Well, look, it's always stupid in hindsight, right? It looked great at the time. You never know.
Exactly. And yeah. I mean, you can only do what you can do. You can only set the best lineup you can set, and sometimes you get it right and sometimes you don't. But I think over the course of the season, I think one thing that's cool on Sleeper, it shows you I don't know if you guys if you play on Sleeper, but if I pull up my league and I go to the matchup, it actually shows our accuracy score as far as start sit goes, which I think is pretty cool. So I think if over the course, my accuracy score in this one is a 94, but that's probably because I benched because I had Tank Bigsby on the bench last week and T Higgins on the bench and they went off. I think it was 97 before last week, but it's going to happen. But I think if you're continually making smart, good start sit decisions, yes, you're going to be wrong sometimes. It's fantasy. Guys are going to you're going to have Mooney on your bench and he's going to go off. But over the course of the season, you're going to get way more right and you're going to have the advantage over your league.
Yeah, and there will be times when studs have bad games. So it could be that you had CeeDee Lamb in your lineup and then somebody on your bench outscored him and that could have been the difference. It was not a mistake to start CeeDee Lamb. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't have his best game. I mean, whatever. So don't worry. Breece Hall, of course, doing absolutely nothing. It happens. It's just going to happen. So for week 6, Love or Williams. I think we've got to go Love.
Yeah, it is a good matchup for Caleb this week, but it's also a London game, so tread lightly.
I think you still probably want to start CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
The wide receiver 2 might be tough.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson, Deontay Johnson, and Devonta Smith.
Yeah, Devontae should be back.
Yeah, you got to assume Devonta's back. Let's see. I haven't dove too much into the matchups yet, of course. Devonta gets the Browns. Garrett Wilson gets the Bills. That is a tough matchup. Deontay gets the Falcons. It's okay. I'd probably go Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I like Devontae Smith coming back nice and rested. We might flex one of those, though, too. But our running back, you gonna bench Breece Hall here?
No, not this week against the Bills. This is a bounce back spot. I'm going Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. And then, I might flex Deontay. Brian Robinson, interesting also. Does it say if he's full? Yeah, he's full PPR. Brian Robinson, interesting also. I mean, although he gets the Ravens and they do have a good run defense, so I might go Deontay here.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just put B-Rob in my lineups, but like you said, this is full PPR and you have good receivers, and that Ravens defense is pretty much become a run funnel defense. Or pass funnel defense, I should say. Tough against the run, pretty open against the pass. So yeah, we'll do that. Go Deontay at the flex, and don't see your tight end, so I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Rough times. Indeed. 4 keepers and needs a defense for tonight. I have AJ Brown, Nico Breece, and Brooks BTJ with no IR spots. I mean, you got us. I think you got to keep BTJ even over Brooks.
Yeah, you got to keep Brian Thomas Jr. I think you got to keep Breece. I think you got to keep AJ Brown, Nico Breece, and Brian Thomas Jr. I think
you can drop Rice. Yes.
Yeah, you can drop Rice.
All right. I don't see anything about a defense. I need a defense. I don't see any defenses listed. Need a DF.
Well, you only have two. You only have two choices: Saints and Chiefs. I think I'm going Chiefs.
You waited till Monday night to go over the defense. Okay, well,
I've done that before. Where like I don't want to drop somebody, so I'm like, well, if I don't, maybe I can get to Monday night and I'm winning, or hopefully not losing so badly that I don't even need to pick up a defense and I just don't have to drop anybody. I've done that before.
I would go Chiefs too. All right. Leo Hilo. Who wins the trade? Kyron for Breece and Hawkinson.
I still got to give the edge to Breece, and I don't even have high expectations for Hawkinson. Again, I just think I thought Breece was the better pick preseason. He's had 2 down games. I'm not going to let that deter me from Breece Hall. I mean, think about all the players that after week 2 or week 3, we were like, it's over for him. And now it's like, oh, maybe it's not over for him. DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Chase Brown. Two bad games does not end the season. Not even close. So I still got to prefer Breece here. And look, you're getting Hawkinson thrown in. Maybe it'll happen for Hawkinson at some point. I'll take the Breece side.
I mean, it's pretty close. I did prefer Breece to Kyron in the preseason. I don't think we can completely move away from that. And you're talking about a bye week. That bye week's not going to factor into trade decisions. So let's not worry about that. Breece Hall's going to have a bye week.
Breece is going to have a bye week too.
Exactly. So don't worry. What about DST rest of season? I mean, don't know what your options are.
I think Vikings are the only defense I would even consider just holding rest of the season right now. That's it.
Yeah, you can just stream. Can't say rest of the season. 95. How's it going? One league and another down 13. Well, Mahomes or Carr?
I think I still got to go Mahomes here. Like Mahomes can get you at least 13. I mean, he hasn't been that bad this year. It's not like Mahomes is getting you nothing. He can at least get you 13, I think.
And here's the thing, of course, everyone, especially the Rice News, he's been out anyways, but now it just more puts a spotlight on the fact that the Chiefs are thin at receiver. But one thing Mahomes will do, maybe more of now, and that Carr doesn't really do, is a run. He'll get yards here and there, and he can run in a touchdown sometimes. So I'm still going to go Mahomes as well. Bobby Brook. All right, so let's look. He's 2-3, which is kind of shocking. He has a really good team. What do we do with this squad? Yeah, Bijan hasn't been great. You have good receivers. I don't know if you started.
You have a good team.
Yeah.
I'm guessing like This week you probably started Love over Kyler, I'm guessing. Bijan hasn't been great, but he gets the Panthers this week, so I'm not worried about him. Jacobs has just been okay. Garrett Wilson prior to this week hasn't been that good. Yeah, this is a good team. No, you're fine. You're 2-3. You're fine. You're fine here, Bob. You win this week, you're 3-3. Like you win this week, go to 3-3, you might like all of a sudden jump into like 6th, 5th place. Like you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I don't think you need to shake this team up either. You're pretty good. Some bad lucks. Felix LeBron, is Cup for Debo good?
Oh, I sadly might prefer Cup right now. I mean, I don't want to overreact to. Obviously, it was Ayuk week this week. But what has Debo really done this year? I mean, I know he missed some games or whatever with that calf, or he missed a game, I think. But like, what has Debo done this year? I don't know.
He had
like
a good game early in the season.
Okay, I'm looking. In weeks 1 and 2, he was pretty good. The last couple of games, he's been bad. I don't know. I might just prefer Cup here, honestly.
Well, I mean, Cup supposed to be back in a couple weeks. I think this comes down to need. If you're trading away Debo, then as long as you have somebody good enough to start in his place, because again, you can't assume that Cup, okay, he comes back in 2 weeks, that's it. It's all golden. He's the wide receiver 1 the rest of the season. Could get hurt again. Like we've seen this before. So as long as you're not sacrificing a very important piece to your current lineup, I think it's okay to trade for Cup. I think this is okay. Okay. Juice wants to know, speaking of traps, he wants to know if Jaylen Tolbert is the next trap. Are we going to be too high on him?
I mean, people are probably going to be too high on him because of what he did this week. But, I mean, the thing is, nobody's going to be as high on Jaylen Tolbert as they were on Dontavian Wicks. So, I certainly think Tolbert is going to be one of your better, flex options because he's in that Cowboys offense. And we know the Cowboys throw the ball a ton, and they're a good offense. So, and he's a clear number 2. He's obviously the number 2. So, yeah, he's the type of player that could always be a trap every week, but he's also the type of player that, if you're looking for a flex with upside, he's got it.
Well, look, any player can be a trap any given week. Obviously, Dontavian Wicks was last week. Tolbert isn't necessarily going to do what he did last week, but I still think he'll have fantasy value going forward. With Brandon Cooks out, I feel like this is it. This is the opportunity. I'm not going to say I was high on Jaylen Tolbert in the preseason. I was intrigued by Jaylen Tolbert in the preseason. He's somebody I was like, okay. And I took several shares in best ball and underdog. He's not the kind of guy you needed to draft, but I'm keeping my eye on him. But now I feel that this is it. This is his chance. This opens the door to Brandon Cooks gone. And look what happened his first game without. I mean, he was good. He's getting separation regularly. He's very high on the ASS chart as far as it's a thing. Fantasy points, average separation score for those who don't know. Getting multiple steps of separation. He's got that chemistry with Dak. Obviously, Dak trusted him. Look at the very last play of the game for the touchdown. I mean, I know he wanted to go to see Lamb. Yeah, the Steelers were ready for that. He went to Tolbert, and that wasn't an easy, he wasn't wide open there. So anyways, the point is, I don't think he's a trap, but it also doesn't mean he's going to do anything next game. So
right. He's always one of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Alan Banda, worthy and more for Bijan or Bowers? Or do you mean Bijan and Bowers?
This is too much for Bowers. Don't go chasing this massive. What did he had a 57-yard touchdown or something on the second play of the game, right? Whatever it was. And then, I mean, what did he have the rest of the game? He had 40 yards the rest of the, he had a 57-yard, and then he had 40 yards the rest of the game. Brock Bowers is fine, but this is too much for Brock Bowers. Now, maybe for Bijan, I would probably do this.
Yeah, I want to assume we're reading this right. You said Bijan or Bowers.
Yeah.
Not and.
I mean, if it's Bijan and Bowers, I 100% do it. If it's Bijan or Bowers, I'll do it for Bijan, but not Bowers.
Exactly. All right. Anthony, what is up? So yeah, we've gotten some good comments here. Your would you call it semi-rage, your tirade against all things that fantasy football owners are feeling right now. I mean, it's
Yeah,
true.
I guess so. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I'm
Saying what a
glad
lot of us
everybody
think.
enjoyed it. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it.
Saying what a lot of us are thinking. Yeah. If you haven't checked that out, guys, of course, I'm sure you have, but this is a pretty good one. All right, let's see. We got Hayden with a super chat. Okay, Hayden. Mourning the loss of Rishi Rice. All right,
Yeah.
but at least you're free to move on now. Some closure. I feel like closure is important here. At least you got that. He's not in limbo anymore. 12 man, 2 flex. Got Love, Breece, Ford, Debo, Neighbors, Waddle, London, Kraft, Sermon, Jennings, Singletary. Would you make a move? Worried about Ford and Singletary? Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, you got. I still think like if Singletary plays this week, I think he's still probably the lead back, but we may see a little bit more Tracy because he was pretty productive this week. Ford, you definitely got to be worried about because Chubb is going to come back at some point, and at some point, they're probably going to give Chubb more carries than they should. But it's not like Ford has been tearing it up. So, but what are you going to do here? I mean, you can't trade Ford right now. You can't. Nobody's trading for Ford. Nobody's trading for Singletary. You got Debo, Neighbors, Waddle. Nobody's trading for Waddle. London, you don't want to really trade those guys.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but not a lot. Not a lot you can do. I mean, don't give up on Waddle because you're selling at lowest possible point of his value. But here's the thing: Waddle's not even playing this week. Even if you could play him, Neighbors
Right.
should play. But if you do trade a guy like London for a running back, well, then you don't have London. You have Debo Neighbors, and that's it. That's you can't have Jennings as your number 3 receiver. So it's like I think it's a tough spot to be in.
You got to just when you have a team like this, when guys come available on the waiver wire, like you did get Sermon, so that's good. But like when guys come available on the waiver wire, like a Tyrone Tracy, you got to take a chance. You got to try to add them. And if it doesn't work out, if they're terrible, okay, fine. Take a chance on the next guy because there will be running backs that will always pop up like this, right? So,
Yeah.
just you just got to have to be aggressive on the waiver wire. There should be opportunities in a 12-teamer to get running backs from now to the end of the season, for sure.
Right. Well, just so this, you're not too bad off. I think Breece will be good this week, and then I'm almost positive JT's not going to play. You can play Sermon as your RB2, and you can get by, and then hopefully Singletary. Sir Boomer dropped a super chat. He didn't need to do that, but thank you, Boomer. 12-teamer. He's 4-1. Still pretty good. JT, Monty, Bucky, Chase, Deontay, Goddard, Downs. Got Love on the bench. Got Achan, Pacheco, and Brooks chilling on IR. Nico might be joining them soon. Amari, Lad, Ingram. Picking up one of those running backs, would you drop Ingram or one of those injured players?
No, so like Peterson did say he feels confident Ingram will be back this week. I don't want to just give somebody Ingram. Like, look, Brenton Strange has been pretty good in that Jacksonville offense. No reason to think Ingram can't be good when he comes back. So, I mean, so Pacheco's not. Man, I don't know. So wait, Brooks is Brooks on IR?
He did say lower. I want to keep Brooks, but wondering if he might not have a big role, which is, look, that's understandable. And we don't know how big a role. It makes it sound like, I mean, I don't know. If both of them
I
on
think he's
IR,
saying
then
drop
what's the
Brooks and
point
then
of
move Pacheco. Drop Brooks, move Pacheco to IR. I might do that because as much as I like Brooks and I drafted him in a lot of places to stash him, first of all, they still haven't even opened his practice window, which means he still might be 2, 3, 4 weeks away. But second of all, Chuba Hubbard's been awesome. Like even if they said Brooks is playing this week, he's not taking Chuba's job right now.
Right.
So I think I would drop Brooks and move Pacheco to IR. I probably prefer Bigsby here because, yes, Wright was pretty good yesterday. But remember, Achane left very early with a concussion. Now there's a bye. There's a good chance Achane will be back in week 7. So I think I prefer Bigsby. I would drop Brooks for Bigsby and put Pacheco in IR.
Yeah, again, I said you don't need to add Wright because HN will be back by the time they play. So,
right.
If you drop Brooks, probably no one's rushing out to pick him up. If you only have one IR spot, I guess it looks like that, then you can drop Brooks.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Not a question. I don't know if we've seen this before or we'll see it again. But apparently, Bo Nix won somebody of the week.
I will say one of the most frustrating things for me, because I was big on Javonte all offseason, and he's finally coming around here. Hopefully he can keep it going. But he gets tackled at the 1, and I'm like, okay, please just give it to Javonte on the next play and let him rumble in for the touch. No, Bo Nix sneak. I'm like, oh.
Padding his own stats. Selfish guy. Yeah, I know. But well, congrats. I'm glad you won, MD. Brother Pickle. In a pickle. Cannot escape the multi-week injury bug. All right. Gonna be 3-2. Okay, it's still a while till playoffs. Let's not worry playoffs just yet. Should I be trying to offload Ingram, Nico, Mixon, and Njoku, or Puka, meaning injured players, or just hold? I mean, that's a lot of injuries.
There is very little chance I'm offloading Nico unless somebody's giving me a king's ransom. This guy has been awesome, and it's not like he tore his ACL. I mean, he might miss 2 to 3 weeks, but then he'll be back. He's been too awesome. I'd be willing to move on from Mixon. Remember, I mean, we've seen these ankle injuries. Guys don't always come back 100% from these ankle injuries right away. I'd also be willing to move one of those tight ends if anybody's buying, but I don't know if anybody is right now. And I would also probably be willing to move Puka if I had to. Because, again, it sounds like Puka might still be a month away.
I mean, you don't have to. Generally, I'd want to hold a player if I feel like he's going to be good enough after injury. But, man, you got a lot. And you have 2 tight ends that are injured. You don't want to hold 2 tight ends, especially when both of them haven't really done anything. And I'm not going to say just yet, drop Njoku because he's on Cleveland, but might not be too long. I'll just say that.
I will say, in fairness to Njoku, the Commanders have been great against tight ends this year.
Oh yeah, I mean it's totally not his fault.
And he was coming off injury. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to be excited about anybody on Cleveland, to be honest.
Right, but yeah, keeping Nico. You're not going to get anything from Njoku or Ingram probably right now. I would hold Ingram for sure. Probably hold Njoku. I'm fine trading Puka. This one's interesting from Mr. Alien Professional. If Pacheco's on waivers, would you drop Bucky Irving for him?
I don't think so. I mean, look, Bucky, we don't know when Pacheco is coming back. I know Bucky Irving and Rachaad White are kind of splitting right now, but man, Bucky Irving still looks good. He still looks good. I don't think I want to drop Bucky Irving for a guy that we don't even know when he's coming back yet. I think I'm holding him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you don't have an IR spot where you can stash Pacheco, which is probably why he's on waivers. In that case, no one's going to stash him for 6 more weeks or however long it is. So, no, you don't have to do this yet. John made a smart decision. John Starr picked up Swift because somebody dropped him, of course. Rage dropped him after a couple of games. Now I'm wondering if you should flip him and sell high.
I mean, never a bad idea to flip somebody you just grabbed off of waivers. I will say I do like Swift again this week. He's got another great matchup. But if I can get Deontay Johnson for Swift, I'll probably take Deontay Johnson. But I'm not trading him for Cooper. Like, what do you want to... You know, like what you said about Jacob Gibbs about Dontavian Wicks, like, oh, he had 7. Oh, he almost connected on this. It's like, yeah, that doesn't help my fantasy team. Amari Cooper should have like 50 more fantasy points, but guess what? He doesn't. He doesn't. So I'll flip him for Deontay, but not Cooper.
Yeah, I haven't looked into the official stats, but I'm guessing Amari Cooper is among the leaders, if not the leader, in unrealized air yards, which is a really fun stat. Yeah. For Deontay Johnson, sure. I don't mind buying low on Cooper, I'll say, but I think you can go lower.
I will say right now, Amari Cooper, 33 points below his expected fantasy points at this time. He should legit have 33 more fantasy points, but he's got Deshaun Watson, so he doesn't.
Yeah, and that doesn't look like that's changing.
Nope.
Unless Cooper gets traded. So Shay Patrice, I am almost positive you asked this, I think, yesterday, and that we said to do this, but apparently you didn't do this. Drop Jalen Polk to pick up downs.
So now you're going to have to fight for downs off. So he was just freely out there. You could have picked him up before the game, but now you're going to have to fight for downs on the waiver wire. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Should have picked up downs yesterday. Said to pick up downs, but do it now. Maybe it's not too late. All right. Doug Fenton with a tight end dilemma actually has 2 usable tight ends. Tucker Kraft or Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, this is actually close because Jake Ferguson, I mean, Jake Ferguson hasn't been like incredible, but he's been one of the most solid tight ends, like just getting you fantasy points every week. I know Kraft is coming off 2 big games, but I will say Cardinals pretty good against tight ends. Lions kind of middle of the road. I don't know. I guess roll with Kraft and hope it keeps going. But I mean, Ferguson, every week Ferguson's been healthy, double-digit points. How many tight ends have done that this year?
Probably none, because all of them have been hurt or had bad weeks. I'm gonna go Ferguson here just because of the consistency, the reliability factor here. Again, not like Brandon Cooks was vacating so many targets, but just more likely that he's going to go Dak Prescott, going to continue to go to Ferguson as like the number 2 guy. I know Jaylen Tolbert was good, but I think Ferguson's just going to have that high floor for a tight end.
Yes.
But Tucker Kraft is definitely usable. Delirious needs to get 8 more than Kelsey. Who does it, Olave or Shaheed?
Olave. I mean, look, Shaheed could catch a 70-yard touchdown and then he does it, but probably Olave.
Got to put Olave first. He's the number 1 receiver on that team, and yeah, it's Olave. DMO 305. 2 trades in 2 separate leagues. Okay, so traded Higgins and Pollard for Kupp.
Well, I'm probably not a fan of this because I'm higher than most on Higgins. And I think Pollard is fine as like an RB2. I think I would rather just keep Higgins and Pollard here. But you got Kupp, so it's not terrible. You got Kupp at least.
I mean, obviously, there's no way to know until after we see Kupp come back. And this could pay off for you. I think it's worth the risk if Higgins was like your 3rd or 4th receiver. And Pollard was like your 3rd or 4th running back. Other trade was Debo and Myers for Hill.
That one I like. I will say, Jacoby Myers impressed me this week. He didn't have a huge game, but he had a better game than like Garrett Wilson against Pat Surtain. Now, I don't think he was shadowed by Pat Surtain. I didn't watch the every snap of the Raiders Broncos game. I will confess. So, but I don't think he was shadowed by Pat Surtain. But I'll take Tyreek Hill here. I think that's a big win. I think that's a big win.
I would definitely take the Hill side there. Not an overpay. No. John M. Here's his 12-team league team in PPR. Wondering, is my team bad? And then later, am I cooked? And feels like the season is slipping away.
I know. When you're 1-4, it feels like the season is slipping away. So I'll tell you the difference. So I have a team that, it's got league medium, but it basically is going to be 1-4. But I do feel like I am cooked because I fell for the early QB tight end trap and drafted Mahomes and Mark Andrews in that league. Also drafted Hollywood Brown. So yeah, I feel like I might be cooked in that league, and it's a competitive league, so it's hard to recover from. But then I have another 1-4 team that is, well, it might be 1-4. Depends what happens tonight. If it loses, that's going to be the highest scoring team in the league. I don't feel like that team is cooked. So there's different 1-4s, right? There's different 1-4s.
Yes.
And I've been like one of or the highest scoring team almost every week. It's not like I just had like 1 or 2 big weeks and then 2. It's like, no, I've been one of the top scorers every single week, and I just keep running into juggernauts. It happens. But you got Stroud, you got Bijan, Brian Robinson, CD, Garrett Wilson, McBride, Pickens. Yeah, starting to wonder about Pickens. Javonte, Bucky, Hunt, Mostert, Dell, Johnson. Nah, I don't feel like this team is bad at all. No.
No, I mean, if Bijan starts to do Bijan things, then you'll be fine. I mean, that's a big part of it here. So no, it's a good team. It's not a bad team.
Yeah.
Only leagues where I feel I might just be done already. It's because it's a dynasty super flex and it's an end game league. And so there's basically nothing available on waivers, like nothing,
Right.
because everybody's smart enough and it's dynasty is deep enough. There's just nothing on waivers and it's super flex. And so the leagues where I had Tua as my second quarterback, yeah, I don't have another quarterback because I refuse to pick up Tyler Huntley. And I just don't have a better option. So other than that, I think you're never really completely out of it in a redraft league. You can always make a trade, waiver wire, stream.
Yeah.
So don't give up. You have a pretty good team. All right. I mean, I understand Mr. Rivers. It's time to drop.
I would love.
He's such a trap that we're just moving on.
This is my favorite. Like, I dropped 30% of my fab, and then the next week he's dropped. Like Carson Steele. Carson Steele has been dropped in so many things. People drop like 30, 40% of their fab and then just dropped him 2 weeks later. He's gone to the waiver wire.
I knew better than that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's definitely not droppable though. No.
Just it was a bad game. I mean, obviously it wasn't a good game, but he did get targets. He did get a lot of those fun air yards that mean nothing. But yeah, he's fine. But
those empty air yards.
Empty air yards. I swear they got to track that somewhere. I want to look for it. Ricardo Briones, would you sell high on Tucker Kraft?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Do it. Move him. Get a good running back or wide receiver. Do it. 100%.
Why not? Bobby with another. Okay, CMC.
I'm above 50% that he'll be back. It's sounding encouraging. I think we see him early mid-November would be my guess. So yes.
Probably. I mean, I don't think my question at this point is will he be back? And we kind of know when he's supposed to come back. Okay, so that's sort of cleared up. My question is, how much is he going to touch the ball with Jordan Mason looking really good and the potential of him rupturing his Achilles when he comes back? That's my question. And then if like all is hunky-dory, fine, great, okay, then you're good. So where I got him, I'm holding him. I'm not buying low anymore. I'm like, okay, it's starting to get closer. The window is closing. His price isn't as low as it was when people were like, that's it, his career's over. So yeah. I'm not actively trying to trade for CMC right now or trying to sell him. I'm just going to right now just stay in a holding pattern.
I think that's smart.
Derek Gonzalez. Should I get Pitts to drop Andrews, who many people probably now just remember he's still alive?
I know, but you know what's crazy about Andrews? He finally had like a good game. But what, Isaiah Likely, 2 touchdowns, and Charlie Kohler, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is. I'm like, who is Charlie Kohler? 3 tight end touchdowns, none to Mark Andrews. None to Mark Andrews. But look, you know what's going to like, okay, you want to know who this week's trap is? It's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is this week's trap.
Probably. But is Andrews going to be better than Kyle Pitts?
I mean, so. They're probably both traps, to be honest. Okay, I will say, okay, maybe I take it back. Pitts does get the Panthers this week. Okay, give me Pitts. And Andrews gets Commanders. Okay, give me Pitts, I guess. Give me Pitts.
Yeah. I mean, this is fine. Now, again, don't expect much from Pitts, but what do we expect from Andrews? It's crazy. to think that he had his best game of the season, and he was the third highest scoring tight end on his own team. That's right. The third highest scoring tight end in Baltimore.
So sad. So sad.
Yeah. That just makes me want to drop him more. But yeah. Okay, so look, this is so popular. I don't know if this is because yours was so good or just someone wants to see me do a rage video.
Your turn to rage. Rage.
I could Rage Against the Machine, one of my favorite groups. Sure, I'll rage. I was just trying to think what I rage against.
I don't know. The Dolphins. The Dolphins.
The machine.
Offense. The machine. Yeah. Rage against the machine. Rage against the fantasy football machine.
Yes, the man. All right. We'll think about it. All right. Also think, by the way, get a little bit of time left before tonight's game kicks off, and we're going to finish up your questions here. Don't forget, you got time to take advantage of the free pick from Underdog. If you are new, for some reason you haven't tried it yet, Pat Mahomes just getting a yard. And if you miss out because you wait more than a few minutes to sign up for the very first time in Underdog, it's okay, because guess what? They'll have another new customer special. There's always something. And existing customers, like, oh yeah, you sign up and you get that. No, as soon as you become a customer, then you get even more. You get these profit boost tokens every day of the month, because you might already know it's Boostober. I just like saying that if you couldn't tell. And you get profit boost tokens every single day, free picks. Just try it out again. Underdog. Use code ENDGAME when you sign up, because you also, for the very first time, get bonus cash on your first deposit. 50% deposit match all the way up to $1,000 of bonus cash in your account just for becoming a customer. You don't have to put that much in, but of course, the more you do, the more you get back. So it's definitely worth it. So try Underdog if you haven't already. Pat Mahomes doesn't have to be great tonight, just needs 1 yard. That's a free pick for you. All right, let's catch up on the last few before the game starts. Bobby Brook is still here. Thoughts on Davante Adams, Jets, Saints, or I don't care because I'm not buying low on Davante Adams. Are you?
No, I think Jets probably where he's going to end up. But how good can you feel? How good can you feel if he's on the Jets? Honestly,
yeah, I don't. Alejandro Quintela. Okay, 12 team, 1 quarterback, 2-2-1 in a tight ends. Possible trades or RB or okay. So here we go. Got Baker. By the way, is Baker? I guess he must be. Is he still the QB1? Probably is. Because Josh Allen definitely didn't pass him. I know that.
No, definitely not Josh Allen.
Did
no,
Kirk
he's
Cousins,
the QB3.
like,
Jaden Daniels, Jaden and Lamar are 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess running in touchdowns helps.
Although, I mean, it always depends on the league scoring too, right?
True, 4 point, 6 point, whatever for passing touchdowns.
How much? Right. What is a penalty for an interception? Yeah.
Well, all right. I was wondering, like, did Kirk Cousins single-handedly pass everybody with that one game? No, not yet.
Nah, I don't even know if he's not even top 10 yet.
Nah. You're good with Baker. Okay, Neighbors, London, Evans, Higgins, McLaurin, Dell. That's pretty good. Tight end, Kraft, Ingram. You're good. Don't know who your running backs are. Did you put the running backs? Yes. Okay, so the running backs are Bijan, Jacobs, Mixon. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you could potentially move a wide receiver for a running back here for some depth, but at the same time, when Mixon is healthy, you have 3 very good running backs. I mean, you could just work the waiver wire here, but I mean, I don't know who you drop. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to move, like if you're like, hey, let me try to sell high on Higgins, I don't think you're getting anything for Dell. You don't really want to trade Neighbors, London, or Evans. But if you wanted to try to sell high on Higgins and again get like a Tony Pollard just to give yourself a little more running back depth, maybe a J.K. Dobbins, guys like that, I think that's fine. But I also don't think you need to.
No, you keep rolling with Bijan, Jacobs. If Mixon comes back, great. I think you have a really good team for a 12-team league. I mean, you're pretty deep everywhere, so I think you're good. Felix LeBron. What do you think about Mason for JD? wants to get rid of his 2 quarterbacks.
Nah. I'm not trading for a QB. Like, I'm not trading a good high end running back for a QB. Not, and especially you got Fields and AR, you're fine.
Yeah, you don't need to trade for a quarterback. Nah, with a guy like Mason, you should be able to get more than a quarterback. I know everyone's high on JD, but let's keep it in check. All right, short season. Thank you. Checking in. There is a hurricane headed to Florida. I checked. I don't think it's headed toward Miami. I'm at least, yeah, because my mom told me that they're not having. Not that she's in school. Her granddaughter, my nieces, they don't have school tomorrow. They canceled it, even though the hurricane's not coming there. But anyways, I think they're okay. But you must be somewhere over there.
Yeah, good luck. Stay safe.
Yeah, definitely. Vegas, Mark D got offered Bijan for Mixon and JSN.
Yeah, I do that. I do that. Definitely. Take Bijan.
Yeah, I know it doesn't seem as much of a no-brainer now. Bijan disappointing, but I would definitely take that. I mean, look, JSN, I know he scored, but he seems like he's not breaking out. I don't know. All right, what else we got here? John M saying thank you. Yeah. Oh, look, this just goes to show the randomness of the head-to-head matchups.
Exactly, but you know what's going to happen? That's going to flip, and he's going to start losing all his matchups. You're going to start winning all of them, and it usually works out. Not always. I had a team last year where we were the highest or second highest scorer, and we somehow missed playoffs. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but most of the time it does. So all you can do is put the best team out there and hope it works out. That's it. That's all you can do. Yeah.
That's the frustrating part. That's why I know you're a fan now. We're going to make it a thing. Best ball, regular season best ball, not just draft and forget. But anyways, we always say it's better to finish strong than to start strong.
That's right. That's right. No one remembers who was 5-0 unless, no one remembers.
All right, Doug Fenton saying he always feels like he needs to grab the hot pickups. I mean, that's always a good idea. Have Hall, Mason, Walker, Jacobs, Achane. No, I don't think any of those guys are droppable for like Braylon Allen.
No, yeah. No. Sit tight. I get what you're saying, but sometimes you just got to look at your roster and say, I don't have anybody worth dropping. Oh, well.
It's not worth it. Boomer, you should know. I thought you watched every single video as soon as they came out. The Rage video. It's
a panic video. We watched a panic video.
Panic video. All right, it wasn't called Rage. The title isn't Chris Rages. It's
no. Yeah, it's YouTube. You can't. If I made the title Chris Rages, like 5 of you would watch it, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not as catchy. It's not as trendy. All right, what's up, John? John's watching.
What's up?
Can we make this happen? Should we make this happen?
Well, it's up to you. You can make it happen. Lip sync Rage Against the Machine.
That seems like more of a TikTok thing than a YouTube, and I don't have a TikTok, so. Yeah, he's saying I'm too crazy. He's saying I'm too chill for Rage. Probably just too tired for Rage these days. I do rate. Look, okay, let me just, without spending too much time on this. I was in flight watching the Hurricanes against the California Golden Bears, and as soon as Cam Ward threw that interception at the beginning of the second half, and it was a pick six, and they were down like by 3 touchdowns. If I weren't surrounded by people, I slammed my laptop and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not watching this. And I was like, if I were at home, I probably would have thrown something. But Mr. Rivers, who are the top waiver pickups for week 6? Well, we have a video for that too.
Yep. Come on, Mr. Rivers. You're here on every stream. You're not watching the videos? Go watch it. What do you do? Do people think we just live stream? Like, are there people out there who don't know we actually make videos too?
Look, I mean, check it out. It's already out. Been out since this morning. Waiver wire pickups. It's there. Is Slayton worth going after? No, because Neighbors will be back.
Yeah.
All right, is Gary Wilson a buy low or a sell high?
I mean, if somebody's selling them low, I'm buying. And if I have them, I'm probably just holding.
Called Gary Wilson a great buy low last week. Called him a boom play last week. I'd say he boomed. Not gonna overreact to the potential Devontae Adams thing until it happens. And then Bobby, brutal honesty. Well, I don't think it's that brutal.
Yeah.
Are we brutal? I don't think we're brutal.
I don't know. I think we're just honest, and people aren't used to that. Like, not a lot of people are honest these days. You know, like they just sugarcoat everything. They just tell you what you want to hear. They just tell you what you want to hear. So, yeah,
that's funny. That's exactly right. I feel some people think honesty is brutal by itself. Like, yeah, it's not always fun, but it's
like,
oh, line.
You said that? You're so mean. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just being honest.
Like,
just being honest.
Speaking of the true brutal honesty, then we have Sir Capalot. He became a member. Thank you, Sir Capalot.
What is that? What is that icon? I'm trying to figure out what that icon is.
Jackson Boz, would you trade B-Rob and Pitts for Bijan? Ooh.
Yeah, I would do this because I still prefer Bijan to B-Rob, and for me, Pitts is like just a throw-in. Like, have them, take them. Yeah, I would do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Pitts really factors into this. So I love B-Rob. I think we're finally moving up possibly to the must start, or at least close to must start. I feel like he's pretty much a must start. But anyways, I'd still prefer Bijan. You're buying low on Bijan. I still think that's good. Let's see. Oh, we got some spam. That's always fun. It's always like right before the game starts, get the spam bot telling you to stream.
Of course, go stream.
Trade away Breece and Dell for Kyron and Mooney. This is Sir Capalot.
I mean, it's okay. I might prefer Mooney to Dell at this point, honestly, but I still prefer Breece to Kyron. But it's not a huge deal. I mean, Kyron is still great. I think it's probably pretty fair. I think it's probably a pretty fair deal.
Yeah, we had Breece for Kyron earlier. Yeah, Dell and Mooney. I mean, what do we make of that right now? So you thought it would be Dell.
I think you got to prefer Mooney, right? Like he's clearly the number 2 there. Dell, I don't know what Dell is right now.
The only thing that even makes this tough is the fact that Nico is hurt, and so maybe Dell takes off, but who knows? Maybe he doesn't. I mean, I think Kyron Mooney's side is just clearly the safer side.
I mean, Nico's not missing like the season or anything.
No, it might just be 1 week. All right, let's get this one in here. Andrew Gill, dynasty trade. Would you trade a second and then a future first for Tua? Double QB. Not good at QB. Not great. I mean, Caleb, yes. Bryce, Dalton's not desirable.
So I'm going to assume you're probably not contending this year because you have Caleb, Bryce, Dalton, and Carr as your QBs. Maybe you are.
And Tua.
But if this is a team not contending this year, or maybe if you are a contender, I'd probably do this. I mean, a 2026 first and a second for a top 15 dynasty QB, maybe even a little higher than that. Yeah, I would do that.
You know, I'm realistic here. I try to be very realistic. Some might say pessimistic Dolphins fan, but I love me some Tua, but I'm not trading a first, even in a 2 QB league for him right now. Because even if you are contending, I mean, I think he'll be solid. He'll help you, but I don't think this is like going to carry you to a championship because I love Caleb Williams. I'm so high on him. But yeah, sorry. I don't think that you got the mix here for a 2 QB league that's going to take you. Look, maybe this is the missing piece of the puzzle here. It's not a bad idea, but I wouldn't do it. Not right now.
The reason why I say yes because it's a 2026 first, and it's like, okay,
right.
We'll deal with that when we get there. Derek Carr just threw an interception on the first series.
Oh, so we're already kicked off here. All right. I don't think we had any more questions for tonight, but yeah, look, you're talking to the guy here who every season comes around like, oh, rookie draft. Let's see. Oh, I don't have any first round picks because I traded them away 3 years ago. Like that's just. I'm like the Rams of Dynasty. I never wind up having them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So Aaron K needs a running back, has Achane, Moss, and Robinson. Okay. Akers, Jalen Warren, Algier, McLaughlin. Anybody else?
I mean, Akers did score finally,
Oh.
and maybe Mixon might miss again. Also Tracy. Okay, Tracy would be the number one option. Tracy would be the number one option. I think McLaughlin. You know what else is so tilting? It's like every week McLaughlin gets some random touchdown. I'm like, well, what? How does this guy keep scoring every week? Why can't Javonte score? But I would go Tracy, and then McLaughlin would be choice number 2.
Yeah, because even if, and I said this in the waiver wire video, even if Singletary is back, I think Tracy earned himself some touches. I think he still will be involved. Jalen Warren, forget it. Algier is just a handcuff. Akers, of course, scored when ready to count him out, but he still took a backseat to Ogunbowale, which we didn't see that coming. So I think Tracy's your number 1.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if Mixon is still out, you probably by default put Akers second, and then maybe McLaughlin. It's kind of a close call between those two. And last one here is NMMB. So we got the lineup got offered. Bijan. So a lot of Bijan trades already, and it's only Monday. Bijan for Mixon and Cup or Mixon and Godwin. So he'd be getting Bijan.
I mean, in a vacuum, I'd do it. I'm looking at yeah, I probably do this. You got Sun God, Godwin, Ayuk. Yeah, give me Bijan. Give me Bijan here.
I think I do it for Mixon and Cup because then you're mitigating the risk of Cup, missing weeks, missing whatever. I'd rather have Bijan than Mixon, like for sure. So I think that's worth it for your team because you still have 3 good receivers. Then you got Sun God, Godwin, Ayuk. Yeah, I would do it. All right. That's it, guys. Game has started, and good luck to everyone who still has something to play for tonight. Of course, check out all the videos that are going to come out, start and sit. We're going to have you covered, as we always do, and then we'll see you again for the stream. Unfortunately, I'm going to leave Chris high and dry tomorrow one more time. Won't be available to stream, but that just means you have more chance to hear him rage against all the players that are going to disappoint us next week.
Somebody better not come on the stream tomorrow and say, like, Garrett Wilson is on my waiver wire. Should I pick him up?
Then you're going to hear it. Then the rage will things will be flying. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.